Okay, so good morning. For today's video, this is going to be a very short tutorial about basic Photoshop tools. So, yung mga pag-aaralan natin for today is yung mga the basic tools that are often used in Photoshop. Again, just a little bit of background. Photoshop is a photo manipulation tool that we use in editing photos, in editing graphic images, and also to produce publicity materials. And basically, that's the essence of why we are trying to learn how to use Photoshop, not only for photo editing, but also for creating graphic materials like posters, pamphlets, landing pages of websites. So anything that you'd like to do that involves multimedia, text, images, and in graphics, you can do them in Photoshop. So let's start. So for today, we're going to make use of these tools from Photoshop. So again, just a little bit of intro or background. So kung paano siya gamitin, again, okay, Photoshop, this is the basic parts. You have your work area here, and then your layers panel here, and then your menu bar on top, and then your tools here on the left side. Ganun lang naman siya. So always remember when you're using Photoshop, although napakarami niyang tools, napakarami niyang buttons, it's quite the same with using PowerPoint. So don't be overwhelmed with using Photoshop dahil kayang-kaya nyo rin itong gamitin. Now, the first thing na kailangan natin malaman is creating a new document. So, Control-N, the same with doing a brand new document in Word. Press Control-N, and then a new window will appear. Pwede natin lagyan ng name. Let's say sample. Have your width. Let's say ang gamitin muna natin is 1920, the usual. And then the height 1080. By default, we are using pixels. We are not, hindi naman natin gamitin si inches, pero usually, pag ginamit natin si inches, mas madalas siyang ginagamit if we're going to create a big graphic, billboards, kung ano man, tarpaulin, or any publicity material. But remember, if you're using inches, you are editing something na in actual size. So medyo maglalag ng slight yung laptop ninyo. So always remember gamitin si pixels for smaller dimension. By the way, nalagay na natin si 1920 and then with the height of 1080, always remember pixels. Kapag pinalitan natin siya into inch, automatically they will adjust themselves. Resolution by default is in 72, but if I may suggest, you can use 200. The higher the resolution, the clearer the image will be. But then again, for laptops like mine that aren't high specifications, medyo the higher the resolution, the slower it will process your design. So if you click OK, I'm going to create a brand new document. Quick tips if you are trying to open two documents at a time. For example, you have for example, if you would want to open two documents at a time, for example, I have my document 2 here and my document 1 here. So what we can do is para mag-appear sila pareho, kung pagbabasihan mo siya in doing something, click natin si window from the menu bar, click arrange, and then tile all vertically. So pag tinile mo sila vertically, you will see two documents at the same time on your screen. Diyan naman siyang gamitin, tile horizontally. Dito naman siya. But this is more intended for landscape. So since portrait yung ginagawa natin, it would be better mag-tile. And then, ayan, para mabalik natin siya, dun sa ma-consolidate natin siya again into tabs, again, we just have to click on window, arrange, and then consolidate all to tabs para bumalik siya sa tabs here on top. The layers panel. So here in the layers panel, here nakikita natin sa baba, you can click this parang paper icon to create a new layer. So when you click on that, kung nasaan yung, you are going to create a brand new layer wherein pwede mong i-edit yung kanyang fill, color, or pwede kayong mag-insert ng kahit anong. Basically, a layer is parang a transparent sheet of paper wherein pwede kang maglagay ng text, pwede kang maglagay ng pictures, pwede kang maglagay ng shapes, or palitan yung kanyang kulay. So layers, always remember, para siyang slides in PowerPoint. Para siyang transparent paper kung tawagin. So when you stack them, pinagpatong-patong mo sila, you are going to create an image in Photoshop using layer. So, if you press delete, automatically, madi-delete din yung layers mo. For example, let's try to create a brand new layer again. You also remember that you have to click this one kasi if you're going to use the usual Control N, you're going to create a new file instead of a new layer. So you have to click this one, create new layer. So try natin maglagay ng fill using the Paint Bucket tool. Ayan, para lang malaman natin muna. So pag nilagyan na natin ng fill color yung ating layer, here sa ating layers panel, you can see the opacity. Basically, when we say opacity, it's the transparency of a particular layer. So kapag binabaan mo siya, you are going to see na medyo nag-fade siya. So kapag ginawa mo siyang 0, hindi mo makikita yung fill or kung ano man yung laman ng layer na yan. Pag tinaasan natin, mag-fill siya. Pero we don't do this technique para matanggal para ma-hide yung isang layer. When you want to hide a layer, you just have to click on this parang eye icon to hide the layer or the layer visibility icon. Pag click mo yan, automatically, hindi mo na makikita kung ano man yung content ng layers na yon. So, yun yung the basic. So, let's begin. The first tool that we're going to use is the Move tool. The Move tool is the topmost icon in the shortcut key is Move. It's the topmost icon here in the toolbar. So, Move tool basically allows you to move selected object. So, pwede natin siyang ma-move into any direction. So, ginagamit natin si Move tool para tayo ay makapag-adjust ng elements in terms of position. So, that is the Move tool. The next tool naman na gagamitin natin ay si Marquee Tool. Marquee Tool, here, pangalawa siya sa ibaba ng ating Move tool sa ating toolbars. The Marquee Tool naman allows you to select a specific portion of an image. So, madalas ginagamit si Marquee Tool kung meron kayong gustong i-select and meron kayong gustong i-delete, let's say, na part of an image. So, meron siyang rectangular, elliptical, or bilog, single row, and then single column Marquee Tool. So for example, I have here a sample picture. What we want to do is gamitin lang yung Marquee Tool. So here siya sa baba ng Move tool. Ang ginagawa po with the Marquee Tool, you are going to select a portion, press V or Move tool para malipat at nandun ka sa mismong layer para malipat natin yung specific portion na yon. Again, ulitin natin, Marquee Tool, select the area that you want to, say, move, V, Move tool, and then lipat natin ang ganyan. This is very useful if you want to edit a part of gusto mong maglipat, you're going to create maybe a background, parang puzzle piece. Pag elliptical naman, bilog siya. Here on top, sa ating menu bar, makikita mo, ano yung feather? Sir, the feather is basically it softens the edges of the selection. So, it blurs out. So, kapag 30, medyo mataas na siya. For example, ayan. Move. Kita natin na medyo transparent yung gilid niya. Pero, hindi naman natin kailangan yan. So, pwede niyong i-0. Then, yun siya. Then again, kung kailangan lang din natin, hindi naman natin gamitin si feather. Pero, babaan natin. So, that's how we use the Marquee Tool. The next part naman na gagamitin natin is the Lasso Tool. The Lasso Tool, nasa pangatlo naman siya, nasa ibaba ni Marquee Tools at ni Move Tool. The Polygonal Lasso Tool. Meron siyang tatlo. Meron Lasso Tool, the default, the Polygonal Lasso Tool, and the Magnetic Lasso Tool. It's quite the same. All these toolbars here are for selection. So, may have here an object. Si Lasso Tool, kapareho lang din siya ng ating Marquee Tool. It allows you to select a portion of your image. So, kapag Lasso Tool, it will allow you to select freely, maybe using your mouse or using your graphics pen or kung ano man. For example, let's try to delete the white background. Pwedeng delete. Ayan. That is the Lasso Tool. I mean, this is the default Lasso Tool. But si Ligo na Lasso Tool naman, the same with the default Lasso Tool, pero it allows you to select based on, ayan. It allows you to create shapes, defined shapes. This is very useful if you want to select something na sharp yung edges. Ayan. Tapos, we can delete. Pero ginagamit to if you want to get that parang paper effect sa paggawa ng mga decorations or backgrounds in Photoshop. Next one, and then the last one, si Magnetic Lasso Tool. Si Magnetic Lasso Tool, ang kagandahan nito, this is often used if you want to remove a part of your image na merong consistent color. For example, iniiwasan ni Magnetic Lasso Tool ngayon lahat ng merong kulay kasi pwede natin siyang gamitin pantanggal ng background. So, dadaanan mo lang yung edges. You don't have to click on anything. Dadaanan mo lang. And then, pwede, you're going to click on your button to create the shape. And then, press enter. Select the... And then, pag click mo yung delete, wala na siya. So, as you can see, nawala siya. And then, hindi niya na galaw yung mga may kulay na area. Although, this is not the suggested way of trying to remove solid backgrounds in your images. Medyo matagal siya. Trabaho. Sa baba, yung pang-apat na toolbar naman is the ayan. Selection tools. The selection tool naman here, ito, yung para may magic wand. Ayan. By default, this is the quick selection tool. And then, ito naman si magic wand tool. So, ano naman po yung pwede natin gawin with the magic wand tool? Kapareho din siya ni Marquee Tool, pero ang pinakaiba niya, medyo mas mabilis. For example, the magic wand, as the name implies, para talaga siyang magic wand. If you click on any area in your picture na merong consistent na kulay, automatically masa-select niya lahat yon. So this is the faster way of deleting areas in your image or design na merong consistent na kulay. So pag click mo yon, automatically click it, mawala na siya. This is the faster way. So if you want to delete. So hold shift if you want to select multiple areas. So what do you mean? Hold natin yung shift on your keyboard and then click on the areas you want to delete. Tapos click delete. Ayan siya. It's the faster way though. So yan si Magic Wand. Ito yung ginagamit madalas in removing background sa mga pictures, ganun. So it's the easier way. That's the faster way. For more precise edges, it would be better na gumamit ng Magnetic Lasso Tool. Pero that again, hindi yun yung way na ginagamit natin sa pagtanggal ng backgrounds in images. Next one is the Eyedropper Tool. The Eyedropper Tool naman po allows you to select a color key from a particular image and then mapapalitan niyo yung kulay ng ating foreground and then ng ating background color. So for example, this is very useful if you want, this is the Eyedropper Tool by the way, I'm so sorry, ayan. Eyedropper Tool. So this is very useful if you have a color palette with you and then you want to change the fill color of elements in your Photoshop document. So for example, I have 3 shapes here, tatlong bilog, and then to easily change the color of these shapes, select the shape na ginawa natin. Kailangan nakaano. Yan. Para active si shape. Now, what we can do is, once na active na yung shape, editable na siya, we can change the fill color and the stroke color sa itaas. Click natin itong box for the fill color to change its fill. Ayan. And then click natin itong color, ayan, color picker. And then, you will see here, the eyedropper tool, mag-a-appear siya. So, pag click natin yan, automatically, it will copy that color key in the color picker and then click OK, mapapalitan na siya. So, pwede natin siya gawin sa iba. In this one, click Fill, color picker, and then palitan natin ang kulay, itong yellow, para mas kita. Okay? And the other one. Ayan, so that's how we use the eyedropper tool ng mas madali. This one naman is the shape tool. The shape tool naman allows you to insert, the shape tool allows you naman to insert shape. So, pwede tayong here sa may babang part, medyo nasa babang part siya. We can create a rectangle. We can create a rounded rectangle. Oops, pero hindi natin masyado nakikita kasi walang fill color. Ayan. Pwede tayong mag-create ng ellipse. Ayan. To change nga po pala, the usual question, sir, paano po ma-change from the default rectangle papunta po dun sa bilog? You have to long press using your mouse. Long press para mag-appear, for example. Long press para mag-appear the rounded rectangle, the ellipse, the polygon. Ayan. And here on top, just a quick tip, if you are going to create shapes, for example, using the polygon tool, sa taas may kita ninyo, may nakalagay here na sides. So, kung ilang sides yung polygon natin. So, halimbawa, usually, bakit mo pa gagamitin yung 4? Pwede mo namang gamitin yung rectangular. So, kung 5, that's usual. Oops. Ayan, pwede natin siyang palitan. We'll make it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, as you can see, nag-iiba yung kanyang mga side. So, yan yung madaling way. Instead of using the tool, mas madaling mag-insert ng shapes using that one. And then, next one, we have the type tool, the very useful type tool. So, the horizontal type tool is by default, it's going to create an area for you to type in your text. So, para lang din tayo nag-insert ng text kay PowerPoint, pag click natin ito, the cursor will change into something like this that will allow you to create a text. Example, this is my, oops. Ayan, tayo kasi ng, this is my text. Created a text box. So, this is my, ayan siya. That's how we use the type tool. So, if you want to modify your type tool, I mean your text more, here in the window, ayan, from the menu bar on top, click natin si window, hanapin natin si character. Ayan. So basically what this window will do is it will allow you to modify or change the spacing, the kerning of your text. So pag click natin si character, automatically a new window will appear here that will allow you to change the font, will allow you to change the font size. Oops. Will allow you to change the spacing of your text, the font color. This is my text. Ayan siya. And that's basically how we use Photoshop. I mean, the basic tools. Okay, so just a few more tips in using Photoshop. So, nagpakita lang ako ng gradient na pattern dito para lang mas makita natin kung paano ginagamit si zoom in at saka si zoom out. So, control, plus, hold nyo si control, then press plus key on your keyboard. Control minus naman to zoom out. Zoom in, plus, zoom out, minus. Control 0, fit the entire composition in your work area. If naka-zoom in, pwede nating i-click itong parang glove tool. Here, it is the hand tool para makapag-navigate tayo in our document. Makita natin in one area. Very useful to if you are doing digital illustrations. Yan. Apart from that, ano pa yung mga madalas nating ginagamit? The eraser tool, but hindi natin yan. You have your foreground. And then you have your background color. And then you have the crop tool on top. So, pwede na tayong mag-crop ng ating images. So, when you press enter, it will change dimension of your Photoshop. So then again, yun yung mga basic tools na ginagamit natin in Photoshop. Again, this video is intended only for my students. Although you can make use of this kung gusto mo rin gamitin, but I suggest you go and find other tutorials since these are purpose-built for my students in PLV for IT. So thank you very much, and I'll be uploading another one or the other tools naman.